Hey everybody, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Are we ready to go? Is everyone here? I think we're going to have one hell of a show, and let's get into it. But wait, there's more. I had to throw in that extra little bumper just to irritate people who want to complain about the intro to the show. Folks, welcome to the zoo. It is Sunday Night Live. It is your show. Hey, folks, this is the show where you guys get to direct the action. I want to start off by saying thank you, Penelope B, for the donation. She says, thanks for all you do. I think she means doo-doo. And have a great zoo. I get a lot of great messages from all of you guys, all of you behind the scenes that are getting a hold of me, either sharing information, sharing stories, sharing opinion, or just saying, John, we appreciate all the things you do and allow us to come together as an enormous supporting community. It is awesome to be here with you guys. As usual, and for people who are just showing up, we always put the link up for the video half an hour early so everyone knows it's coming, especially with daylight savings time. I would say we've actually got an excellent start, all things considered. So, have you got your chair? You got yourself, you got a computer, you got the show on. Do you have a beverage, right? Did you set your clock back or forward or whatever the heck we're supposed to do, fall back? That's not so bad. I tell you, folks. Wow. Anyways, thank you for the great donation, Penelope. There was one up here. I don't know where Jolene's at. Hey, everybody, where the heck's Jolene at? Well, since she's not here, let's talk about her. She does a great job. Behind the scenes, Jolene works 7 days a week. She works on videos. She works on posting stuff to Patreon. And I want to thank all of you Patreon supporters that are here. Well, this is the zoo, though, where it's YouTube and Patreon come together. And, right, it is here that you get to ask questions. You get to direct the show. If you hit that super chat button, you can ask a question. You can make a statement. You could even tell a joke. Put a joke up there, and I'll try and read it. We do have some slight restrictions on things we can talk about. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Facebook, Google, big tech, and Nazis everywhere on the left. What they don't want us to do, folks, is have an open conversation. I would love to give you both sides, right, of an argument, and then say you get to choose for yourself. What is more credible? Right. Oh, looks like Jolene has stepped in. No, we got Uman stepping in. Thanks, Uman. I appreciate that. Uman on the spot. Folks, Jolene's behind the scenes. Uman, I think he works like 20 hours a day. How he does it, I don't know. But the rest of you, everyone, we're doing a great job with research, dispersing information. That's really where we're at in this war. It is an information war. It's a psychological war. Getting information out and sharing it with others. That's how you fight this war. You get prepared and you take action. The action we can take right now is talking with congressmen, politicians, elected officials, bureaucrats, whoever we can get a hold of, and then, of course, sharing information with others. So we got Chewy Weather. Chewy Weather has become a YouTube member. Thank you, Chewy. And speaking of weather, I don't know if you guys have noticed all of the climate change going on. Oh, you bet, folks, climate change is real. It is absolutely real. I listen to Greta the little Grinch. I listen to Greta the climate Grinch, right? And she's absolutely right. There is climate change. Oh, now we got Jolene in the house. Folks, we got this massive system here that just monitors the world. Yeah. Oh yeah. Back to climate change. It's called, you guys ready for this? It's a revolutionary concept. It's called seasons. Seasons. Yeah, the climate changes from season to season. It gets colder, then it gets warmer, then it gets hot, then it gets cooler and colder, then warmer and hot. It's called seasons. Happens once a year. Now, down in the deep south here, right? If you want to be in the old bayous, the seasons are a little less pronounced. You go up north, and they'll make you pronounce a lot of words, like it's fucking cold in the winter. Anyways, we got Darcy checking in with a $50 super chat donation on PayPal. Folks, we have a PayPal. We have the super chat button. All the ways that you can support the show are appreciated, very much appreciated. And you guys keep the lights on. You keep me in all of the best spam. You've got regular spam. You've got turkey spam. You've got bacon flavored spam, smoke spam. There's all kinds of good spam. I want to thank you guys very much. And I'm glad Chewy Weather signed up. But we need all the people we can over on Patreon. We'll still do the zoo because this is where we really reach out to the public. I would ask that you send the video link up top, the URL, the address. Send that to people right now and say, come and listen. We're going to talk about some shit hitting the fan. Now, this is a great question by Darcy. Is everyone ready? Says, hey, John, or hello, John. Shouldn't the insurance actuaries be running the numbers and stats to see that hospitalizations are up, mostly for the Jim Jones juice people? Oh, yes, they should. They should, Darcy. An actuary, an insurance actuary, is a person who goes over the statistics. They break things into demographic groups. Old, young, in the middle, male, female. They break things into how many dollars were spent by other groups, what were their pre-existing conditions, what kind of premiums did they pay, how long have they been with the company, et cetera, yada, yada, yada. There are statisticians or actuaries that put tables together to figure out, well, you know, this group over here seems to be higher risk. They seem to have more medical bills, and so they should be paying a little more, right? That's why some of us pay more and some of us pay less, or at least that's how it used to be until Barack Hussein Barry Soetoro, I love a guy named Michael Obama, stepped in and said, no, healthcare, access to healthcare is a human right, and we cannot discriminate. It has to be the same for everyone. Well, unless, of course, you didn't get the Jim Jones juice. In that case, fuck you, you don't get nothing. That's what they would love to say at this point. Oh, yeah, folks, these are not our friends. So, yes, I've been getting numerous reports all weekend from the United States of America, Australia, around the world, of people who are being admitted to hospitals. They're being admitted into hospitals. They're very sick. They've got skin conditions. They've got lung conditions. They got heart conditions. They got brain conditions. They're having trouble with their extremities. They've got inflamed arthritis. There's people that are coming up with all kinds of symptoms, and the hospitals can't explain why, as we go into climate change, aka winter, as things are getting colder, they're not really able to explain why so many people are getting sick. They're trying to say, well, you know, for a year, people didn't go into hospitals because of cerveza bug. So now there's just a mad rush to get into the hospitals. Oh, really? Right? Where were they 3 weeks ago? Where were they 8 weeks ago? We've been watching this thing where it's just slowly starting to ramp up. Now, I have to be very careful what I talk about. As you know, I have to be very careful with what I talk about. So I'm not going to take a poke. I'm not going to take a stab or a jab at what is causing people to have to go to the hospital. After months and months of cerveza bug, all of a sudden people are getting sick and falling over and blacking out and having heart attacks and all sorts of medical trouble. It is not a pretty situation. I think that we better pay very close attention to what's happening, because it seems to me that the Jim Jones juice appears to be the culprit, in my opinion. It's the one factor that's changed in life that would cause this, because the side effects or injuries appear to be the same as what we're dealing with, except they're not noting that in the news stories. The hospitals don't seem to be saying anything about that. They're not that. I think behind the scenes, Darcy, the insurance actuaries know the facts, but out in front, they don't want to tell us what the fuck is going on. Very scary business. And folks, again, I want to thank you for supporting everything we do. And it is Heidi making a PayPal Super Chat donation. She hit the Super Chat button, Heidi did, and Burgers and Beer Fund. Thank you, Heidi. I need more burgers and beer, I tell you. You guys have been great supporters of all the work we do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Super Chats, folks. This is where you guys get to direct the show. You come up with a Super Chat donation and a question, and I'll make you famous. Love that stuff. Okay. We did have a Super Chat donation, $30 at the very beginning of the show. I saw it pop up. Actually, it was before the show even started. And Laser, there it is, Billy Lazer, $30. He says, great show, man. The show hadn't even started. That's how powerful we are. We hadn't even started, and he says, good show. Incredible. Thank you, Billy, very much. A great donation. And it is you guys and what you do that makes this show so dang good. Get this. I want to talk about this because it's important to me while we're waiting and getting everything all lined up. Right now in the background, I think Uman's doing some cartwheels. Jolene is jumping some rope and getting warmed up for all the for what we're doing here. It's Sunday Night Live. Get this, folks, in the great state of California. My former home state where I was born, Governor Newsom, folks, he's canceled all of his scheduled appearances. That's odd. He hasn't been seen in public since getting his booster. That seems odd. And he did that all the way back on the 27th. The 27th of October. Well, I'm trying to look at the date. Let's see. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. That's 5 days of October. And then 7 days here of November. 5 and 7 is 12. We're looking at almost 2 weeks. And nobody has seen hide nor hair, as my mother would say. God bless her. I love her, my mom. We haven't seen hide nor hair of Governor Newsom since October 27th. Do you think it's because he got the Jim Jones juice? Folks, we all kind of owe a debt of gratitude to Mr. T, an anonymous provider of fun here. And he wanted to say, hey, you know, this Jim Jones juice, this thing's great. I mean, isn't it just wonderful? And so we're going to start carrying the product at the Prepared Mind, and here it is.
Patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable. Thank you, Mr. T, for putting that one together. Not coming to a store near you, but if you want that, head to a pharmacy. Boy, they'll give you the mud urna. It's great for kids. Folks, shit hit the fan in the fall of 2019 in a big way with the collapse of the financial and banking system that nobody was allowed to see because they instantly papered it over. Instantly. They didn't allow it to do a Lehman Brothers crash. But they introduced Cerveza bug right away. Now, a lot of people say it was already out all the way back in the spring of 2019. And it didn't spread far and wide until the end of 2019. They introduced it to the world at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. My older son got something for 2 weeks that took him down pretty good. And then the world was told, oh yeah, this is now a thing. We're now going to flatten the curve. It's incredible, folks. They have been controlling us ever since then. They've been controlling us, controlling our perception, or in the case of normal people, they have been attempting to control all of society, the whole world. We are an aberration. We are oddities, you and I, because we're paying attention and thinking for ourselves. We're listening to what they say and seeing it doesn't match the facts. Very fascinating stuff. We are right now over 600 viewers as we've just started our first 15 minutes. You've done it, folks. Give yourself a round of applause. We have now beaten the President of the United States in the number of viewers he gets in a video. That's right, folks. More people have now tuned in and are here live than watch the President of the United States when he does a press conference. Isn't that amazing? YouTube channel versus YouTube channel, we beat him every single time, hands down. It's fascinating, though, that he's the president and I'm just a guy. It's fascinating that all I want to do is give you more than one perspective. But they in DC, all they want to do is control perception, and they have the power, and they're using the mainstream media to do it. They're using big tech to control everything. And I want to tell you right now why censorship is going to grow worse. Opposition, folks, is going to be criminalized. And sadly, history shows that that is precisely what happens. First, they create the situation where there's a group of people that are the bad guys, and they call them the bad guys, and they point their fingers at the bad guys, and that is basically you and me. We're the bad guys. They point the fingers at people like us who have an opinion that differs with theirs. So we start out as the bad guys. Then they completely dehumanize and demonize us. Then they say, well, we shouldn't be allowed to talk because what we have to say is incorrect, and it's misinformation. Folks, it happened in Soviet Union. Do you think they had free press in communist Russia, the Soviet Union? Do you think they have free press in communist China? They don't allow people in Hong Kong to say what they want. They're arresting them on a daily basis right now. And in the United States of America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, we are not allowed to talk. And keep sending out this URL, the address here. We just got a big old bump in viewers coming online. Email out this internet address, this YouTube video, send it out, hit the share button. People are going to want to know, right? History shows that censorship goes from bad to worse. Censorship goes from being, you shouldn't say that, all the way to you become a criminal. But right now, folks, right now we are in, you might want to call it the salad days of opposition. The salad days of opposition, meaning we're being censored, but at the same time, we're still free to speak. We're the bad guys, but we're not criminals yet. And so over the Georgia Bulldogs football game on Saturday was a Let's Go Brandon banner being towed by an airplane. They're being flown over Florida, Georgia. They're being flown around the country. They're dropping banners in sports stadiums. The President of the United States was holding some sort of Lincoln log or some kind of function over the weekend down there at his Mar-a-Lago place, and the whole crowd starts chanting, "Let's go Brandon." He's at the World Series last week at the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta, and the crowd started cheering, "Let's go Brandon," which is the nice way of saying fuck Joe Biden. We have senators saying it. We have congressmen saying it. This is why I have hope that we can not only fight this, but win it. It's not going to be a quick battle. It's going to be a long, drawn-out battle. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be incredibly difficult. We will ultimately, folks, be called criminals. Ultimately, expect it. Wait, folks. Wait for it. It's coming. They will say that to oppose the administration, to oppose the will of Washington, D.C. is to be a criminal. to speak out against the administration is an offense. I would be absolutely shocked if civil war breaks out before that happens. I mean, we have people being arrested right now for merely walking on public property. We have people being arrested for refusing to be an FBI stooge, a sellout, a tool, an agent provocateur. People are being arrested for it, folks, right now. It's not going to get better. This is Sunday Night Live, folks. Super chat button, I'll make you famous. You got something to say? I want to hear it. You may have an idea that nobody else has thought of, and I get those quite frequently, where someone says, you know what, I just thought about this in a unique way. And that is what free speech is about, the ability to look around, see, think, share with others. And it's not just about, say, my ability to speak. It's about everyone else's ability to listen, to hear, to absolutely hear, right? I want to hear other people. I don't like the fact that doctors in this country are silenced. Doctors are having their, folks, get this. This is short of being criminalized, but it is still a punishment. Doctors are having their licenses revoked. Their license to practice medicine pulled because they have an opinion that is adversarial to Washington, D.C., or the medical expert establishment, for disagreeing with Dr. Doom dumbass, right? You disagree with him, and so now you lose your license to practice? Dr. Doom is not a doctor that, you know, he's not a general practitioner. He doesn't see patients. What does he know, right? He's a bureaucrat overseeing God knows what. What have we heard about? Let's see, torturing dogs, making bat soup, and growing aborted fetal scalps on rats, and who knows what else that hasn't come out yet. That's his idea of medicine. Dr. fucking Mengele. Anthony Mengele up there at the CDC. We're supposed to take his word over, let's see, family practitioners, specialists in the area of pulmonary and cardiac health. All right, we got Phantom Bar checks in. Winsome Sears, former Marine. Winsome Sears is married to a Marine and is now the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Let's get more Marines to step up and run for office, and let's not forget the truck driver in New Jersey. Okay, number one, Winsome Sears is not just a Marine, and Winsome is female. Winsome is black. Winsome is a Jamaican immigrant. Winsome served as a Marine. Winsome won some votes, did she not, in the state of Virginia? Virginia, like, took a bath and washed all that blue ink off. It is now a conservative state. Awesome. We need more Marines, folks. We need more soldiers. We need more airmen. We need more sailors. Well, you know, the kind that know what their own gender is. Let's at least get that right. Put your hand in your pants. You know exactly what you are. And you go, ah, man, or, you know, woman goes, oh, yeah, definitely a woman, just checked. We need people who have a moral foundation, some ethics, you know, some morality, some decency. Anyways, I really enjoyed seeing Winsome wearing a very nice outfit and holding an AR-15, posing in a picture. She is pro Second Amendment. It's because the intelligent people in this country know what the Second Amendment is about. I would rather have someone who knows what the Second Amendment is about, for why it was brought about and included in the Bill of Rights. I would rather have them in office because they understand what's going on. Now, truck driver in New Jersey. Have you heard about this guy? Spent $153 on his campaign, folks. That's right. To run for the Senate in New Jersey, he spent $153. And most of that, portion of it went to business cards. The rest of it went to Dunkin' Donuts for his staff. That is an awful indictment of mainstream Democrat, socialist, woke politics The people of New Jersey absolutely rejected this guy, the incumbent Democrat. And they voted for a truck driver who made sense, who campaigned. Now he won, except, interestingly, the incumbent stated to the press, no, we seem to have found 10,000 votes that need to be counted. And we know how important it is to count all the votes. And so they're going to count the votes. And I still don't know what the outcome of that has been. It's funny how during an election, they can count votes like a motherfucker, and fast too. Fast. But when it comes to actually getting it right, they tend to, they need to find out how many votes are needed, I guess. I don't know what the ultimate outcome of that is. I don't know if the former senator of New Jersey has given up, conceded. I don't know. But this is going to get, it's like a replay. I mean, deja vu. Weren't we just here just yesterday? Am I going to be able to talk about this? Or will I be silenced, as I've been silenced over so many topics? And I had a friend ask, why do you say cerveza bug still? I go, because there was a time when I couldn't even say the words COVID. I couldn't even say the word because the word was banned. And then YouTube said, well, we should be able to say the word as long as you don't put out any misinformation, you bunch of bad guys. All right, we got Patrick Honesty checking in with a $4.99 super chat, and his avatar is Mr. Hanky. Thank you for that. And he says, I've got crabs. I don't know what to make of that, man. Number one, get a razor, take a shower. Number two, I don't know what kind of crabs you got. Get a hot pot of boiling water, throw them in the water, right? Have a good shave, and I've got crabs. Krabby Patties. I did watch SpongeBob over the weekend, but I don't think you guys want to hear about that. That was much more, folks. I watched SpongeBob because it made more sense. It made more sense for me to watch SpongeBob than it did to watch the news over the weekend. Let's go, Brandon. Okay, then we got Jamie Harvey is a YouTube member. YouTube now has membership. But Patreon, that membership is the best. That's the best because one of these days, folks, it could happen. You've been tested. We got tested, last week? I got kicked off and suspended for a week. Incredible, folks. The video that they said got a strike, they took it back. And then they gave me another strike for the same video. And I said, you just said it was good. How can it be good one day and then all of a sudden it violates your rules? That they can't come up. They just needed to give me a fucking strike. I disappeared. One of these days, I may just disappear and never come back. And see, when they give me a strike, I can't come on and do a quick video and say, hey, guys, got a strike. See you in a week. Hey, guys, why don't you go over and listen to my brother Jim on the Prepared Mind BC? Hey, guys, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to say a fucking word. I can't even put a text message out. Right, a post. I can't do nothing. Anyways, we're up to 777 live viewers. That's way more than President Gigi Biden gets live at any one time. But I want us to hit 1,000 today. We need to hit 1,000, folks. Now, I talked about how ultimately political opposition turns into censorship, ultimately turns into criminalization. They criminalize speech, and then they lock us up in prison. That's where this is going. At some point, folks, I'm going to get a knock on the door, except I think it'll probably be the local police, the local sheriff, the local constabulary will say, John, we're not here to arrest you, but we just need to let you know that you're in trouble, according to someone else. And we're not going to arrest you, but we just have to let you know, right? Keep an eye out. What am I going to do? Am I going to shut up? Do you want to shut up? Do you want someone telling you to shut up on what you can talk about? That's coming, folks. Adolf Hitler told people to shut up. Guess what? They didn't. They refused. That's right, people. The Germans refused to shut up when Adolf Hitler told them to. But John, the Nazis took over Germany, and Then they locked people in concentration camps. They murdered people on the streets. They demanded that people show identification and papers. And certain groups like homosexuals and Jews were arrested and forced to wear stars and triangles, and they looked like a bowl of Lucky Charms walking down the street. You know, it was very bad, very bad. So what do you mean people stood up to Hitler? Well, they did for a while, until the Gestapo, until the SS arrested enough people and intimidated enough people. But understand this. There were over a dozen known assassination attempts against the Fuhrer. The most famous of which was the attempt by a colonel. That's right, folks, a colonel in the SS was part of a conspiracy to kill Hitler and blow him up at the Wolf's Lair. That's right. People didn't like what was going on in Germany, folks. It's just they were silenced. They allowed themselves to be censored, intimidated, arrested, bullied, and they still worked secretly and quietly, right, to resist. I don't think they're going to get that far with us, with me and you. They may say shut up. I think we've got a lot more to say than they know. All right, we got Boru checking in with, holy cow, a $30 super chat donation. Hit that super chat donation, $30 super chat. He says, hopefully this can still buy a couple Monte Cristos. Smoke them if you got them. Holy cow, man. I haven't thought about a tasty Monte Cristo in months. I've got a few rolling around in my humidor that I've been saving for a rainy day. Monte Cristo cigars. Good cigars. I like them, the Arturos. Anyways, thank you guys for the support. Thank you, Boro. I'm going to have to look that up. Smoke them if you got them. If you have a drink, get a good drink while you can. But most importantly, folks, get your preps taken care of. Tomorrow, I'm going to have an interesting discussion. I have that video. I'm kind of thinking about it, planning it out. It's about, do you need to be trained, or do you need to have the preparatory items, or do you need to just have a really good understanding of the universe? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Right? We got a lot to think about, you and I. But right now it is Sunday Night Live at the zoo, and you guys get to decide what we talk about. Not what I want, but what you want. And we got North Shore Preparedness checking in with a Canadian $5 super chat donation. Now, he's Canadian, and he says this, hey, John, original thought here, prisoner in my own country, check my vid. I am going to recommend that everyone get out a pencil, piece of paper, write North Shore Preparedness, and check out his YouTube channel after the show, tomorrow, next week. Yeah, check back. While we're on that, I understand what you're saying, a prisoner in your own country. That's what the Germans were. They were prisoners in their own country. And if you think about it, it is an original idea to go, wait a minute, right? I'm not a prisoner in a prison. I'm a prisoner in my own country. And I wonder how you explain it in your video and what you talk about. And folks, we do, while we're very careful about talking about other videos, because, you know, some people are complete psychos, and, you know, I don't want us to be associated with crazy lunatics. We're all very sane here, very calm, peace-loving Americans and Canadians, Australians, Europeans, but prisoner in your own country. You see, the thing with a prison is you can't leave it when you want. In fact, while a prison is several acres, as a prisoner, usually you're only afforded a very small little thing called a prison cell. A prison cell inside of a prison community with other prisoners. Now, you're up in Canada, and we're down here in the United States of America. And the United States of America is itself becoming its own prison. And people are being locked down in some areas, punished. That's right. They're criminalized for doing nothing except being free. And they want to get people used to being penalized. They want people to get used to someone telling them what to do, and they have to obey. And if they refuse, they're going to get in even bigger trouble. See, that's what happens in prisons. And you can't leave when you want. You can't leave your cell, and you certainly can't leave the prison. Well, you can't leave your home, and certainly not the whole country. This guy's a prisoner in his own country, folks. Now, in the old days, 100 years ago, 200, 300, 400, 500, you couldn't leave your country without permission. That's right, folks. There were countries you're not allowed to travel from city to city. And I'm not talking Nazi time. It's just the rule. The lord of the land, be it count, baron, earl, duke, they would, they owned the land, and you couldn't travel to another district, another county, another state, another nation. You couldn't travel where you wanted. This notion of free travel around the world, the ability to freely travel, not free as in cost, but freely move about, is a modern notion that still requires the king's permission, known as a passport. What are they telling us we need to have to travel around, to go into a store, a fucking restaurant, a bar, to go to a sporting event, an entertainment event, to travel from state to state, they're saying, and throwing this out there? A passport. A passport that's issuance is predicated upon you behaving in a manner that satisfies the state. That is to say, you get the Jim Jones juice. Now, we've got a lot of people in here. We're at 850. I want us at 1,000 people. And I'll tell you what, we're going to get there tonight. We're going to get to 1,000 people live at one time. And really, you stick that in Biden's nose. But yeah, original idea. Think about yourself. Are you free? Should you be free? What was it like to be free just 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago? Was there ever a doubt in your mind that you could travel and be free? Now you ask the fucking question, am I free? Can I travel? Where am I going? What happened to our rights? Well, we're told that a tiny invisible thing that is so dangerous that the only way to know that you have it is to get a test. Well, I mean, some people do get sick, but other people are like, how would I know if I have it or not? I haven't gotten sick. I won't get sick. I've been exposed, and I'm not getting sick. It's so bad and so dangerous that you have to get a test to find out if you got it. And then maybe you can travel after that. All right, we got Remy Marish from the Netherlands checks in with a €20 super chat donation. And Remy says this: what coin shall I buy? Morgan dollar or the peace dollar? Well, you're over there in the Netherlands. I would recommend buying the Austrian Philharmonic or the British coin. But I mean, Morgan dollars are the old one. I think he's talking about the silver coins, folks. Any of them that have come from sovereign mints are probably the most recommended. You've got South Africa, and me personally, I don't own a single South African coin. I don't like what's going on in South Africa. I'm certainly not going to have anything to do with it. There's South Africa. There's the Perth Mint in Australia. There's the Royal Canadian Mint. There's the U.S. Mint. There's the British Royal Mint, and then the Austrian Mint. There's a lot of private mints that do private coinage as well. Getting a sovereign coin pretty much basically guarantees it's easy for people to tell if it's real or not. And it's reliable. They have a premium that's attached to them. And Ramy, how do I say this? Whatever is most easily recognizable and accepted in your country, get. If you're in Canada, obviously the maple leaf. In the United States, get the Walking Liberty Eagle. I don't like the new one that they have, the new silver 1 ounce coin. I think it's freaking ugly. That's just me. The silver kangaroo is really nice. Keeping money in banks is going to become a little screwy and squirrely here. So be very careful. I'm not telling you to close out your bank account. I'm just saying, look around, decide what's best for you and where you're at and how to protect your family, your job, your house, your life, your wealth, everything. We're going into strange times, folks. We got Cottage Farms checks in. Cottage Farms checks in with a $10 super sticker. If you got a question, Cottage Farm, throw it up there, and I'm sure Jolene will find it. But thank you very much for that super chat donation. Keeping the light on, keeping the pantry well stocked with Spam and Bush's baked beans. In fact, I want to talk a little bit about food preps. I had a discussion with Crispy Bacon about beans, right? The most inexpensive staples, beans and rice. You can buy them in bulk. You can buy them in 10-pound, 20-pound, 50-pound sacks, maybe even bigger. But the amount of nutrition you get out of pinto beans, regular old pinto beans, it's incredible for the amount of dollars you spend. A lot of long-term food storage that you get is staples, potato flakes, chipped potatoes, dehydrated potatoes. Rice is just dehydrated rice. Same with beans. Do you need to pay somebody else big dollars to put beans and rice and potatoes in cans for you? Not really. Not really. There's other things that you want to get that are dehydrated so they last a long time, that are much more expensive items. They're necessary, right? Do your very best to get stocked up. You don't have to spend a fortune. It's just important to get it done. So please do that. Get your staples taken care of. And then, of course, get your Spam, get your canned meats. And you can also get freeze-dried meats. In fact, at thepreparedmind.club, we have Thrive, and we have a link at My Patriot Supply to their brand as well. Jolene does the Thrive long-term food storage. And I think it is the absolute best and best tasting. And they have a huge variety, or at least they did. I don't know where they're at today. Jolene could tell you, or at thepreparedmind.club, you can get links. People are buying stuff out big time. I had a local friend tell me that the local stores are doing good here where I'm at. I'm getting news reports from other places around the country that they're still having trouble keeping the shelves fully stocked. We've been told there's going to be food shortages. We've been told the prices are going up. We've been told that by the CEO of major food companies, like I believe it was Kraft Foods, Heinz. Anyways, we're at 892. We're almost to 1,000 people live right now talking about shit hitting the fan, and I got a good one that I want to bring up. But send out the URL, email it out, text it out, tell people, wake the fuck up, start paying attention. Remember how they canceled Thanksgiving last year? They canceled Christmas. They're like, well, if everyone does this and that, we'll let you have. And it's like, you're going to let me have Christmas and Thanksgiving? Well, we don't want anyone getting grandma sick. And it's like, what are you talking about? Grandma is always sick. Grandpas get sick. People get sick all the time. Now it's a big deal. Well, if we just save one life, they're fucking liars, folks. Anyways, people have had it with these lying fuckers. And at the very top of the political structure, not the world structure, but the political structure, is this guy named Joe Biden, who I lovingly call Gigi Biden, President Nobody. Folks, the whole Let's Go Brandon, I was talking a little bit about it earlier, flying over the Georgia Bulldogs, playing towing the banner. UFC this weekend, the Ultimate Fighting Challenge, right? Dana White's fighting league. And he said last week, it's a free country. You don't have to get the Jim Jones juice. You don't got to get the jib jab, the jibbity jab. You don't have to get the Kool-Aid. You don't got to drink that Kool-Aid unless you want. It's America. And he caught all kinds of flack for that. And he was basically, I don't give a fuck. So he had a fight all set up in Madison Square Garden. Folks, Madison Square Garden is New York City. And the crowd was going ape shit. During one of the fights or more, started chanting, fuck Joe Biden. So loud, it was overtaking the announcers. That means that place was rocking. with it. Folks, it's at football games, it's at baseball games, it's at hockey games, it's at basketball games, it's at college games, it's at pro sports. It's even on the golf course, professional golf course. The chants will start. It was at the World Series. It happens on beach. It happens everywhere, and it just happened in the UFC fight. Good, yeah. Fuck Joe Biden. Let's go, Brandon, folks. People have had it. They're fighting back. What are you doing, right? And this is, I'm not putting you down. I'm just challenging you. What can you do next? Of course, right? Send the joke around. Send the memes. I love it when I get memes, even if I get the same meme a dozen times, right? I'm glad to get that meme. But share them with everybody. The memes that are a joke, because contained within the meme, the joke is a fact, is a truth, is humor, right? And the best humor has truth and facts in it. And so I love to use humor. And I get a lot of people say, hey, John, thanks for your fucked up sense of humor. It really makes my day, right? It goes a long way. So, fuck Joe Biden, you bet. Get those memes out there. People are going, what does that mean? What does it mean to say, let's go, Brandon? In fact, the head of NASCAR, the president or CEO or whoever the fuck he is, was saying, we really don't like the fact that people are saying, let's go, Brandon. That's just not nice. Yeah, well, it's not nice what NASCAR did with all their bullshit either, right? They're like, hey, we want to be as woke as the other sports and ruin attendance. Yeah, well, they did their best. Anyways, NASCAR's back. A driver today, was it today? I think it was today. Went to get in the car and gave a big "Let's go, Brandon" out, and everyone's like, "Ooh, he's gonna lose his sponsor." The team owner is probably gonna have a little talk with him. You know what? I don't think he gives a fuck. Number one. Number two, the owner, team manager may agree with him and say, "Yeah, that's right. Let's go, Brandon." Folks, that means fuck Joe Biden. It means screw Dr. Doom. It means the pandemic is ridiculous. They don't agree with any of the shit that's going on, whether it has to do with cerveza bug, wokeism, critical race theory, the LGB, the Let's Go Brandon, LGBT agenda, all of their agendas, the destruction of the military. Let's Go Brandon is a repudiation of all that shit. All that Marxist, fascist, globalist shit coming out of DC. The American people are waking up. The Canadian people are waking up. Folks in Australia, they're awake and they're getting clubbed like harp seals. All right, we got Tuna Tamasha with 100 Czech. I don't know what the Czech currency is called. I feel very bad about that, but I believe these are Czech units of exchange. I can't remember. Holy cow. But they're Czech units. And he says hyperinflation, new strain, blizzard, military checkpoints with mandatory Jim Jones juice, blackout for 3 weeks, reset. Prepare accordingly. Better safe than sorry. Possible future, not for everyone. Quantum. That was a very interesting note, and thank you, one, for your generous donation. Thank you, two, for reiterating that this is a global broadcast that everyone listens to. Now, the world looks to the United States of America and says, what the fuck are the Americans doing? Right? But truly, folks, I want to know what's going on in Europe. I want to know what's going on in Canada, down in Mexico, over in Australia. Europeans, folks, they're fighting for their lives. They're fighting for their culture, their laws, their rules, their history. Every culture, every country in Europe is just this beautiful mix. And the elites want to homogenize it and destroy it all. It's incredible. They want it to all be the same. It can't be. The Czechs are not the Poles. The Poles are not the Germans. The Germans aren't the Spaniards. Spaniards aren't Italian, nor French, nor English, nor Scandinavian. Anyways, let's go through what he has to say again. Hyperinflation. We're seeing that already, folks. When I pay $4.99 for ground chuck, that's double what it was just a few months ago. That's 100% increase. That's hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is coming to everybody Okay. Said a new strain. Yeah. It's the Delta. It's going to be the Epsilon. It's going to be the Gamma. It's going to be they're going to keep coming. They need to keep us scared. They need to keep the people that scare easiest scared the most, so that they are the biggest fear-mongering snitches on the planet. So they're the easiest to control. Fear is the great motivator. He says, blizzard. Here comes the winter. They're going to use, it sounds like, everything they can in Czechoslovakia. Did I say Czechoslovakia? Pardon me, the Czech Republic. Forgive me. I'm so dated and old. Right? Checkpoints, military checkpoints. Just today, Poland announced an increase in military activity and recruiting because of the threat that they're feeling of a potential Russian takeover. There's a lot of fear going on, folks. A lot of fear. I don't think that Poland actually is under threat of invasion by Russia. I think the Polish government is fearful of the people saying, we've had enough of this shit. We want it to stop. And so they're increasing their military presence. And European culture, history, and law is more apt to allow their military on the streets policing the people than we have in America and common law Anglo countries. But it's not looking good. Anyways, blackout for 3 weeks. This is being discussed on a global basis. Some sort of blackout event. A couple of hours is one thing. Folks, you lose your power for a couple of days, that's a bigger concern. Lose your power for a week, you've got a crisis. 3 weeks, and you can change an entire nation with that blackout. And then reset. He says right after that, the reset. What are we looking at, folks? What are they calling it? The Great Reset. Klaus Schwab wants this great reset. Essentially, shut everything down, turn the lights back on, and say, here's the new rules. He says, better safe than sorry. You better prepare accordingly. I agree 100%. You buy food. Hey, folks, hyperinflation. Food is just going to get the food you bought last month is going to look cheap compared to the food you have to pay double for in 6 months. It's going to look cheap. It's going to look like an investment. You can always eat it too. Get your food, get everything else. Now in America, we have guns, handguns, rifles, shotguns. Get them. Get all the freedom seeds you need, folks, because there's going to be a chance, right, that it's going to be used. All right. And he says, possible future not for everyone. That's true. Quantum. We've got some big stuff coming. Thank you again for the great donation and for making it known. And we passed 1,000 live viewers right now. I want to thank everybody for going the extra mile and sending out the invites, the links, and saying, hey, you better wake up. You better get over here. We need to talk about what's going on. It's not getting better. It's completely and totally jacked up. Redline Enterprises sent $33.80 in a super chat PayPal donation. And $33.80 is the 338 round. It's a caliber. It's a very popular one, the 338. And this is what he has to say. He says, do you realize how long this shit has been dragging out? Is that by design to take wind out of our sails? I am almost wanting shit to happen now. Tired of all the traitors and lies every day. That is the war that they want to win. The information war, the psychological operation, they want to win without firing a single shot or having a single shot fired at them. They want to win because people surrender. They want to win because people give up. They want to win through attrition, the defeat and destruction of an enemy up here. Now, you say this, you say, they've been dragging this shit out. That's how you win by attrition. You don't quit, right? And you make your enemy want to quit. You don't quit and you punish your enemy. The government and state governments and local governments that want lockdowns and passports and masks and all of these rules and you're a bad person and you're a bad person unless you kiss the state's ass. They have that kind of power. Like Governor Newsom in California says nobody's allowed to go out. Nobody can go to a restaurant. Restaurants are closed. And then that cocksucker shows up in a restaurant with all of his buddies, no social distancing, no masks, while everyone else in the state is in their house afraid, supposedly, reputedly, of the invisible bug that you don't know you even have until you take a test to tell you you've had it. Folks, they're not being hurt. Government is not being hurt. Government is not going without. Government's writing checks. Government's printing money. It's doing all of that. It is conducting business. It is doing what it wants to do at an alarming pace, while we're being told, sit still, shut up, hang on, you can't do this, you can't go there, shut your mouth, no talking. So they're trying to, as you say, take the wind out of our sails. They want to take away our morale, our belief system. And so now you've adopted this attitude. You say, I am almost wanting shit to happen now. By shit, I think you're meaning some Mad Max activity. You want to get active. You want some exercise. That is coming. Ultimately, folks, the government will push and push and push until the government becomes violent. And then there will be a violent response. As long as we can resist and not allow them to get their way, as long as we don't quit and let them win by attrition, as long as we recognize their psychological operations and warfare techniques, their media censorship and war techniques, as long as we see it and we can hold out, they will become more aggressive, and more aggressive. Essentially like they're doing down in Australia. The government down there is right now, folks, for people who have been caught being naughty, have been written tickets for violating Cerveza bug rules in Australia. Guess what they're doing? They are freezing their bank accounts and confiscating their money as well as their property. The state has now decided that it can just confiscate property in Australia. That, my friends, is an act of government violence. Now, if I'm standing next to my ancient but very macho truck, it's mine. I paid for it. I pay for the upkeep. I insure it. It's my truck. Mine. I have the key and everything. If someone walks up and says, John, we want that truck, I'm going to tell them no. If somebody walks up and demands it and I say, no, you can't have my truck, it is my truck. If somebody walks up from the government and has a gun and says, we're taking your truck, that's an act of violence. Anytime, because that is all a government has. Government has authority. They don't have rights. Government can use force. Because if the government asks and says, we would like you to do this, we go like that. No, I don't think so, and I don't give a fuck. So in order for the government to make us do something, there has to be the threat of using force. The threat of force. Force or the fear of force is how government behaves. That's their rule. That's how they operate. They send you a bill. Oh, you don't like that? Well, then we're going to send a guy with a gun, and he is going to take your money, take your property, take your car, take your house, put you in jail. It is an act of force. It is an act of violence when the government acts. And we have two choices as the people. We can either accept the act for what it is and say, well, our government is acting within its scope of authority, which we, the people, have authorized it to act, and allow it to happen. You allow the government to arrest you. You allow the government to steal your property. But it's still an act of violence. Or you can deny them what they want. You can deny them the arrest. Government says, we're here to arrest you. And you're like, you know what? I haven't committed a crime. I'm not going to allow you to arrest me. Right? Or the government says, we think you've committed a crime and we're going to take your house, your money, your car, whatever, taking your property, and you can either allow it or you can dispute it. Now, the government likes you to believe you have no choice. And I'm not telling anyone to do dangerous, harmful behavior. I'm not telling anyone to violate the law. I'm not telling anyone to do anything dangerous or harmful or destructive. None of that shit. I'm just saying you have to either accept or deny. You get to choose whether the government is acting correctly or incorrectly. Now, some people say the government shouldn't do that. That's not right. And they still give their property up. They still comply. They still allow themselves to be arrested. They still give up their bank accounts. I get it. But have no doubt and understand it is an act of violence. And people have had enough and they're tired of this shit. And they're ready for the fight, as Redline says. They're ready for the fight. I'm going to sneeze. Apparently, I'm not going to sneeze. There's some kind of southern mold or some shit, or some kind of southern spores or something that makes me sneeze lately. What do they call that? Allergies. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, let's move on. We got Crazy Uncle with a $5 super chat donation. And he says, the moment you have to pay taxes on something, you do not own it. You're just a renter. Ah, yes. The subject of taxes, property, rights, and authority. There's a purchasing tax, a sales tax. Government likes to believe that events occur that without their permission would not exist, and therefore they have a right to tax it. So the government says a sale is occurring, we have a right to tax it. You're registering your vehicle, and so we're going to charge you an annual tax. You own property, a house? Well, same thing. You're asking us, right? We're telling you have to pay a tax. And he's right. Now, something like let's say a firearm. Firearm you buy, you pay a tax, a sales tax when you buy it. That's the last time you pay a tax. You buy a bottle of whiskey. Literally has a red piece of paper over it. That's a stamp. That's a stamp tax. Tax has been paid on that bottle. It's a one-time tax, right? But a car, a vehicle, or a house is something that you pay on an annual basis, and it's a tax. And without that, the government believes that, well, if you fail to pay the tax, then the government has a right to take the property. When in the case of real estate, they say, you know what, we're going to add the tax for several years. If you continue to be delinquent, we're going to sell that property at auction to satisfy the tax, and you get what is left. You know, that way you're not getting screwed out of whatever the wealth is, because fair market value is what the auction produced, and the government gets its taxes satisfied. So yeah, you're renting from the government. You're renting from the government. If you're paying a 2% property tax every year, in 50 years, you will have given the government 100% of that property's value, because you pay 2% times 50 years is 100, 2 times 50 is 100. It's kind of easy math in a way. But yeah, you've paid the government to own your own property. You've essentially become a renter, because if you don't pay the bill, they'll take it from you. Same with your car. That's not how the system was started in America, folks. We used to have a allodial title, that is true and proper ownership. A man's home was his castle. The roof may leak, the wind may blow through it, but this is mine. It's actually a very old saying. And the king may not enter was how that saying ended. Right? The roof may leak, the wind may blow through it, but this is mine, and the king may not enter. Meaning a man's home is his own castle. It is his. He owns it. Owns it, absolutely. A allodial title. They changed that. The government did. By hook or by crook? Oh yeah, you bet. By crook, in my opinion. All right, we got Crazy Uncle. He says, prepper tip and a $5 super chat donation. He says, prepper tip, with the price of food going up, talk to the older folks. Many of them had to stretch food before and have some interesting knowledge. I would recommend that. Now, one of the things we can do Folks, we're still well over 1,000 viewers live right now. It would be really cool if we tap 1,100. But also, we've passed the 1 hour mark. We typically go 2 hours plus, as long as we're getting super chat donations and there's more to talk about. We'll stay here. But yes, we're now past the 1 hour mark. And how do you stretch food, right? Well, there's, Crazy Uncle loves the prepper tips on Sunday Night Live. Number one, stop eating so much. We Americans overeat and we don't do enough exercise. That's why we as a nation, and probably the whole world, are fat. We have a lot of fat. Even I have fat. I'm leaning up as best I can. Well, not as best. I'm doing my best without doing my best. I'm lighter than I was, in better shape. But we do eat. We eat as much as we want. But learning to do with less. Right? If you were to set a diet and a caloric intake significantly lower than where you're at, and I'm not a doctor, consult your doctor if you have one, if he hasn't had his fucking license removed for speaking the truth, consult your doctor for making any serious dietary changes. I don't want to be responsible for anyone getting sick. Anyways, the idea was you train your body to eat and deal with less calories. So you lose some weight, so that the functions you need to perform living can be accomplished on that lower caloric intake, and your money will go further. Eating simple foods instead of complex foods, right? Simple foods are less expensive. But I do want to say this, and this is very important. Make sure your food tastes good. Get lots of spices, folks. I recommend it. Get spices, a variety of spices, not just salt and pepper. And salt is also very necessary, but not just salt and pepper. Get a variety of spices to make, if you're eating the same thing every other day, at least it'll taste different with the spices. Very important for psychology. You're not going to want to eat food that's boring, that you've had too many times in a row. Right? That's why I have, regular Spam, low-fat Spam, turkey Spam, bacon Spam. Right? You got a variety of Spam. Okay. Thank you very much, Crazy Uncle. It is important, folks, that we are prepared for what's going on. We got Blank Zero with a $2 super chat donation. He says, how many are willing to give life for country? That's a good question. I have no idea how many are willing to give their life. I'm going to ask the General Patton question. How many are willing to make your enemy die for trying to take your country from you, for trying to take your freedom and liberty from you? How many of you value your life more than liberty? How many people value liberty more than your life? Let me explain that, because I know we have a lot of new viewers. If you value your life more than your freedom, your liberty, if you value your life more than your liberty, you'll preserve your life and give up your liberty. Well, you got no freedoms. Government says get on your knees. Well, you have no freedoms. You have no say, but you have your life. You're alive. So you get on your knees. Then the government says, put your head on the chopping block. Well, you have your life, but you don't have any liberty or say. So you put your head on the chopping block. Right? Government says, call me uncle. You say, okay, uncle. You give, you give, you give, and you give. But it's not your life. And now you are just obeying what government says. Oh, you're living as a slave. You're no longer free. Is that how you want to live? Now, if you value your liberty more than your life, that is how a patriot lives. When liberty, freedom, your rights, your property, your family is more important than your life, you're willing to trade your life, which is nothing without liberty. Right? Would you rather live and die as a free man, or would you rather exist as a slave, living the life someone else wants you to live, the way they want you to exist? It's no way to live. That's why people are willing to give their life for something more important, not for the greater good. Oh, I don't think you're going to catch me saying that. It's not about the greater good. I don't give a fuck about the greater good. I give a fuck about liberty, freedom, our rights. That is what is important. The greater good, no. That comes about as a consequence of people being free. Consequence, the result of people living free is prosperity, happiness. That comes as a result, as a consequence of living free, having liberty. And that in and of itself creates a greater good. But you don't say this is for the greater good and enslave people. You say be free, and the greater good comes about as a consequence, as a result of that attitude. You see how they're diametrically opposed? One creates slavery in the name of the greater good, and the other, folks, is freedom, liberty, happiness. Okay, we got Brian checking in with a 556 super chat donation. 556, one of my favorite calibers. He said, is it disheartening to you? Oh, is it disheartening to you we haven't shown the same spirit as those in Australia regarding mandates? That over here we seem to be far more reluctant. This entire episode that we've been living, Brian, is disheartening. But I don't believe that America, the United States of America, has done worse than Australia. Australia has put up with lockdowns and mandates that are obscene compared to even the United States. Being told that you have one case of cerveza bug, everyone back inside. It is fucking obscene what is going on in Australia. The police in Australia should be fucking ashamed of themselves. They should walk. Instead, they're trading a paycheck so that they can run about and steal people's freedoms from them. It's disgusting. It really is. Australia does not have the firearms that the United States of America has. In the United States of America, right now, people are leaving the more tyrannical zones, California, and then the cities within it, San Francisco, Bay Area, Los Angeles area, the Basin, Chicago, the greater Chicago area, New York City, all the boroughs. People are leaving those areas. They're hightailing it out of there down to free states and free counties, free areas of the country. Right now, there is a great exodus and migration around the country for those who want freedom. That's happening. People are saying, fuck Joe Biden, meaning fuck the COVID, fuck the lockdowns, fuck the mandates. Everything that is wrong with America that 2 years ago wasn't a problem and now is what people are saying fuck Joe Biden about, because he represents that attitude, right? He represents that initiative, that intent, that impetus to lock everyone down. That's what Joe Biden's doing. And so that's why people are saying fuck Joe Biden. And then they're leaving areas where Joe Biden has a titular control, right? He is the epitome of the head of the pinnacle, the peak, the pyramid top. He's the capstone of stupidity. And he's telling everyone what to do, and then the governors follow, and then the mayors follow, and people have had it. They're leaving if they can afford it. Some are just abandoning ship. Disheartened. America has its guns. America has its ammunition. America has its veterans, its hunters, its hillbillies, its rednecks, its badasses, its bikers. America has a rebellious spirit, not rebellious against what is good, folks. The rebellious attitude has always been against improper authority, misapplied authority. That is what America has always rebelled against, is improper, immoral, unlawful authority. That happened in the 1850s, resulted in the Civil War in the 1860s, or the war between the states, the war of northern aggression. And I don't care who wrote the fucking history books, folks. It was the War of Northern Aggression, which started with the commercial aggression, punishing the South, punishing farms, forcing them to sell their goods at a discount to the North so their textile mills could reap a huge profit. And it turned into a military aggression. Well, here we are today. The rebellious nature of the United States exists still. The desire to tell anyone in authority to kiss my ass, it still exists. It hasn't stopped. I never stopped having that thought. They can kiss my ass, you bet. I love saying that, right? I would love to have a scotch in one hand, a Monte Cristo in the other, and to tell Joe Biden, go fuck yourself. Would love that. Stand there, all 6'6" of me, plus my boots and whatever I happen to be wearing, and just tell them to kiss my ass. That's what America's about. We haven't gotten to the point yet, folks, where we set our scotch down, where we set our stogie down, right? Where we say that's time to throw down. Australia is closer than we are. And God help them if they get to that point where they have to throw down and start fighting. And I don't mean fighting a little bit. And we've seen evidence of their willingness to fight. There was that one dude that was just running through the crowd, and he was waylaying the fuck out of everybody with a badge. And these same people, these badges in Australia. I'm not opposed to law enforcement, folks. I'm opposed to unlawful behavior by government and officials. In Australia, when they push down old women, break their hips, and spray them in the face with mace, that's not a good thing. When they arrest women for going to the beach, that's not a good thing. Right? The facts about cerveza bug, its transmissibility, its danger. Yes, the CDC are the experts, folks, but a lot of people tend to argue with them. I'm not going to argue with them. I know the facts. All right, we got Drew Becker with a $19.99 super chat donation. Thank you very much, Drew. He doesn't have a question. If you got a question, put it up there. We're very close to 1,100 people. Send this, send the URL, the address to people and say, you've got to come watch. Start learning. Get prepared. Shit is going sideways in a big way. All right, we got Red Pill Files checks in with a 556 super chat donation. Says, don't we need to cut the head off the snake? Klaus Schwabe, Great Reset, Rothschilds, New World Order elites need to go. Yes. There's this being, this mythical creature called a Hydra. Called a Hydra. Hydra is a multi-headed snake. It's featured in Sinbad movies. It's featured in mythology. I believe it's featured in the Book of Revelations. It's a multi-headed snake. So you can't just cut off one head. So what could these other heads be? Well, let's see, the head of government, the head of the military, the corporate power, the medical head, financial head, the monetary head, right? There's all of these heads. You can't just cut off one, right? Because, well, the Hydra is also a magical being, and the heads would grow back. You can't kill the beast by taking off one. You have to cut them all off. And that is a much more difficult thing to do, especially since it is a global Hydra now. It is not one country. So in a country like, let's just say the Czech Republic, small country, they have a smaller administration, a smaller bureaucracy. It's much more concentrated in a small area. And so it's easier in a country like, say, the Czech Republic to go in and take the heads off of everybody because they're all working in a couple of buildings. Now, the United States of America is a much larger beast, if you will, right? And they've learned to protect themselves. Why would the government, all of its Hydra heads, need to be behind steel and concrete, protected with guns from their own people? Why would they need all that unless they knew what they were doing was wrong? You see, that's what I consider to be prima facie evidence of wrongdoing. The guilty behavior. They know what they're doing is wrong. They absolutely know it. They've said it for years. If the public knew what we were doing, they would, be arresting us, and there'd be blood on the streets. They know it. That's why Nancy Pants Pelosi has put up concrete barriers, fences, razor wire, and has National Guardsmen in D.C. That is why they've taken peaceful protesters and locked them in prison in Washington, D.C. It's supposed to be jail, but it's being used as a prison where they're being denied their rights, due process, trial by jury, being tried in a timely manner. Habeas corpus. Habeas corpus means show me the body. Show me the body. Marge Taylor Greene shows up with Louis Gohmert, both of them representatives. I believe at one point, Matt Getz has also shown up and said, hey, we want to see the bodies. Show us the bodies. Habeas corpus. The government says, nope, you can't see. Not going to show you. You don't get to see the conditions. You don't get to see anything. I don't understand, folks, because that is not American. An American prison or jail system should be one where, hey, the public, you want to come visit? We'll show you what's going on here. These are criminals, and this is the crimes they've committed. These are the crimes they're being tried for. This is the judicial system as it works. See what happens? They get fed. They get treated mercifully. They get treated with respect. But they're criminals. They're going to get their day in trial in court. They're going to get their sentence. They're going to have a jury trial, a trial by a jury of their peers. But, this is our system. Look at it. It's open for all to see. Not so anymore, folks. Not in the United States of America government, not the USDC government. And the USDC government, folks, is not your state. It's not your city. It's not your country, because they're not obeying the Constitution. All right. And it's obvious. It becomes self-evident. Self-evident. We got the Blue Collar Bicentennial checking in with a $5 super chat donation. And he says, John, I'm finally fully off grid. I literally bought the hill I will die on if need be. It's a shame it came to this. Kind of wish I could just start. Kind of wish it would just start. Tired. This is the second time. And folks, we're over 1,100 live viewers right now at this moment. Awesome. Good work. Bam. People are waking up. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Show up. We're here 5 days a week. Well, 7 days a week on Patreon. 5 days a week. Well, plus, the weekend. Yeah, 7 days a week. We talk about SHTF, getting prepared, what's going on, what you should do about it, et cetera, et cetera. Now back to the Blue Collar Bicentennial. He bought the hill he will die on. Good. When you have something worth defending, it matters. Your hill, your family, your life, your family, right? The people who fought the American Revolution, they pledged their lives, their families, their fortunes. What do you mean pledge? Talking about the fucking furniture polish? No, we're not talking about furniture polish. They pledged their lives. That's themselves. Their family. Folks, family means a lot. That's who you are. Your parents, your children, your ancestors, your offspring for generations. Your good name. People used to fight and die over their own name. You're not going to say anything about my name. That's them fighting words. So they pledged their lives, their families, and their fortune, knowing that the government, the British government, would come after them and try and take everything from them. And so they pledged it all. Essentially, they said, this is my land. This is my hill. I'm going to die on it. You're going to have to take it from me because I ain't giving it up. Americans are getting there. You, my friend, Blue Collar Bicentennial, you, Red Line, and you, all of us, understand you're ahead of the curve. Here's you as we go through time. As we go through the shit it's the fan process, it's going. The rest of the world, you can't see. They're off the screen. But, right, here's you, and here's the rest of the world. right? You're ahead. You're just ahead of everyone else, but they're following. They're getting drug along. It's just taking more to push them. It's taking shit. It's taking more violence. It's taking more taxes. It's taking more regulations. It's taking more tyranny, but they're coming along behind us. You're just ready ahead of time. That's it. That's what's important to note. You're ahead of the curve. Don't become exhausted. Don't allow them to wear you out. Don't allow being tired, right, to take you out, to make you make poor decisions. Don't let them trick you and harm you. I scratched my face. Okay. Anyways, yeah, don't allow them to do that to you. Understand, yeah, you're tired. Understand, yeah, you're frustrated. Understand, yeah, you've had enough of their shit. Understand it. Know what you're willing to fight and die for. Life, liberty, property, right? Pursuit of happiness, right? Those things, but your liberties. Understand that's what's worth dying for. That's why we live and breathe as Americans. That's why we join the military, the Army, the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, right? You join that to protect liberty, not to defend tyranny, not to empower tyranny. But don't let them wear you down to where you give up or do something stupid or just quit and say, I don't care anymore. Fuck it. Take my property, take my freedom, take my life and give in. Right? Don't do that. Don't do that. You know, be your own man, be your own woman, be your family, be Americans. So important. It is so very important to understand that, yeah, we started running this race before everyone else. So we're going to be tired before everyone else, but they're all right behind us. They're waking up. And right now we're seeing that, folks. The amount of people we have here right now shows us that Americans are waking up and they're subscribing, they're getting prepped, they're getting red pilled. Some are getting black pilled. And it's better, folks, for you to red pill people, friends and family, because they're going to want answers. They're already waking up. They're already going, this is fucked up. Now, denying them information is worse than giving them information. Keeping them in the dark is worse than enlightening them with what's happening. It's better to scare them and say, you better get food, there's going to be shortages, than for them to run out of food and suffer the shortages. Yeah, folks, we're all a little afraid, a little nervous, a little scared, a little concerned. But we don't let that fear control us because we understand what's going on. We're prepared mentally. That's what makes us so key in helping the rest of America and the world wake up, is we're aware of what's going on. We're staying educated. We're staying engaged. We're not allowing them to dictate to us what we think and believe. We are making our own decisions. Let's move on. We got Smash Time with a $20 super chat donation. He says, just found your channel. Great message. Agree and keep fighting for us, brother. You bet, man. And we need you to join with us. Talk, share experiences, information. Find other channels. Folks, theresyndicate.com. In fact, Jolene, I hope you can put it up there. Put it in the comment section. Ooman, put it in the comment section. Ooman is a moderator. You'll see him in the comment section. He's got one of these. And we don't fuck around on the Prepared Mind channel. We'll fuck your shit up if you try being a troll or an asshole. And I invite you, try it, right? And we'll give you the blue wrench. We'll make you famous. YouTube doesn't want trolls. Neither do we. It's one of the few things we have in common with them. But anyways, Ooman runs thesyndicate.com. So let's get that link in the comment section. The R Syndicate is all prepper channels. But I'm really glad that you came here, man. I appreciate it. If you join, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell. We've got 4 channels, dude. We got the Prepared Mind. We got the Prepared Mind BC. We got John the Prepared Mind and Prepared Mind John. We got backup channel after backup channel after backup channel. Plus we have Patreon, which is our premium site where you get to participate Monday through Friday. In the afternoon, we do a monologue, half-hour, and a half-hour Q&A every day on Patreon. And then that gets uploaded over to YouTube for viewing later. And then we do an uncensored weekly wrap up only on Patreon. And then we have Sunday Night Live, The Zoo, where we get Patreon and we get the YouTube and we get the whole world. And then I say, go get other people and get over here. You know, it's important. You need to be excited about our future. And maybe I don't do this enough. Get excited about the future. I mean, well, John, how can you be optimistic about what the fuck is going on? Well, I'm not excited about all of the suffering and pain and anger and destruction. I'm not excited and happy for it. But I am excited and enthusiastic that the evil is being exposed, that Americans are waking up, that they're realizing their liberty is threatened, that their families are in trouble, that our nation is in danger, and they're starting to take action. And that is exciting to me and good news. That our efforts, I've been here doing this, folks, since 2013. December of 2013 is when this channel was started. But I've been prepping since the 80s. I'm a normal guy. You can ask people that know me on a normal day-to-day basis. They're like, hey, normal guy. I guess you guys aren't crazy. But yeah, people are now going, I can see the purpose behind prepping. I better get some food. Better be sure to be able to get water and purify it. Learn how, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and understanding the world around you. We document it daily. Have a plan to deal with your area. Let's move on. We have Electrical Serge, and we're back up over 1,100 viewers live. Awesome. So the Electrical Serge says, to reduce carbon dioxide, CO2, to reduce carbon dioxide emissions, Biden needs to control his bowel movements on important trips. Oh my gosh, yes. Prince Charles, that would be the son of the Queen of England. His wife, Elizabeth Parker Bowles, apparently attended some function, some state function over there having to do with climate change. Yep, winter's coming. The climate is changing. Don't worry, it'll change back in the spring. Anyways, apparently he ripped an incredibly long and loud fart while, I guess, sashaying up the promenade. I don't know what they were doing, right? But at least she didn't describe the odoriferousness, the olfactory grading. We didn't get to hear how stinky the old fuck is. But it's certainly incredible, folks. We're told that cow farts are destroying the planet and that we need to stop eating beef. But the president, Gigi Biden, he can just embarrass himself and the nation in a new way. They found yet another way to embarrass the nation. And, basically he has no idea what his bowels are doing, And someone said, hey, President Biden, don't you know when you're farting? And he says, it depends. Oh, boy. It depends. Like Depends Undergarments. All right. Let us move on. We got Tech Smith with a super chat donation. $5. Thank you, Tech Smith. He says this. Let's go, Brandon. And the tomahawk chop became the war chants of the people in 2021. Go Braves and let's go, Brandon. The tomahawk chop is something the crowd does. It used to be probably something that the guy with the organ, the dun 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 dun, right? That guy at hockey games and baseball games. They used to do that to get the crowd to wake up, especially in baseball. And folks, I love live baseball games. But, the guy on the organ does that. And they started this tomahawk chop thing. And it's for teams like the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs. There used to be a team called the Washington Redskins. It's now the Washington football team. What the fuck? But, you had the Cleveland Indians, the Atlanta Braves. Now, down in Florida, they got the Seminoles. Freaking Florida's crazy, folks. But any sports team that has a proud Native American mascot or name, they love doing the tomahawk chop. And I have worked for, and known many Native Americans, folks. And half of them, just like any other population, is for, and half of them are against. The ones that are against, too fucking bad. The ones that are for, more power to you, right? And they'll say more power to us. They love the fact that something like that, as ridiculous, as silly, as stereotypical. It's like taking someone like me and going, "Oh, you guys, you bunch of stupid Vikings, you got horns growing out of your head." Yeah, I laugh. That's fucking funny. I don't care if it's stereotypical to talk about Vikings as big, giant, blonde, brute fucking guys. Who cares? It's a stereotype. It makes me laugh. Anyways, tomahawk chop, right? And then the chant that goes with it. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, the people said enough of your woke shit. Enough of this cerveza crap. Fuck Joe Biden, tomahawk chop. Let's go Braden, tomahawk chop. I wish this was, a type of chant that happened at games. Maybe that's coming. Don't be surprised, folks. There are going to be more and more ways that people can object to what's going on. I encourage you to not violate the law or hurt anyone's feelings, but I do encourage you to speak up. Your First Amendment right is your right. It is an inalienable right. It is a right that no man or government can take from you. It is a right that only you can give up. And by give up, I don't mean that you would want to. I mean, folks, someone could beat the ever-loving shit out of you and make you quit doing something. It's happened to me many times. I've had the shit beat out of me many, many times. That's how life goes. Someone bigger and stronger than you beats the fuck out of you. But they haven't taken my life. And I get up and I'm tomahawk chopping again. Folks, they can beat us up. They can hurt us. They can take our shit. Don't quit. Don't give up. All right. We're past the 90-minute mark, folks. We're past the hour-and-a-half mark. We're going to keep going because I see we've got more super chat donations. We got Rick O'Connell checking in. And I love you, Rick, man. He's got a 556 super chat donation. He says, long time no see. Here's some dollars for a can of DEET. Them swamp skeeters eating your face, brother. Keep on preaching. Semper Fi, and let's go, Brandon. Yeah, the swamp creatures. I hate mosquitoes. The RMZ, I was thinking, oh man, I'm gonna fucking die there, right? I got some kind of a nice, friendly anti-bug stuff, and I got some DEET, which is old-fashioned mosquito repellent. Not good for you. It's a chemical. And I got there, and I was like, hey, there's not many mosquitoes here. This is a good thing. Every now and then I get chomped on by gnats and stuff. Sergeant Major would laugh at me, quit using that aromatic soap, jarhead, because I was using Irish Spring in the jungle. I was like, do, 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 whistling and getting clean with the rainwater. That was a hell of a thing, folks. I'm telling you, the RMZ conquering of the jungle was one hell of a thing that I did last year. And it was. I came back to the continental United States and arrived on October 31st, the evening. And I've been here ever since, with the exception of the times I've gone back. But yeah, it's been 1 year since leaving the RMZ and saying, I'm going to get the fuck back and stay back. And that's what your super chat donations are about. John, get the fuck back up here, stay the fuck back. Right? And I am. As long as you're committed to sharing, informing, educating, preaching it, right? Getting out, taking action, getting prepared, all the things you need. As long as we're all here together, I'm here for the win. I'm here for the win. So yeah, you bet. And let's go, Brandon. We got Smash Time back with another $5 super chat donation. He has this. He says, exactly, my channel. Okay, Smash Time has a channel. Folks, write that one down. Smash Time, go check out his stuff. He says, my channel focuses on building your local network, spreading the gun nut vibe. Excellent. Now, I love that you call it the gun nut vibe. Folks, we don't encourage violence or illegal behavior, nothing harmful or dangerous because of, community guidelines. We don't do that shit. But it is absolutely critical that you find and work through a network of like-minded people. You may not be a gun nut. You just may be an American who wants to be free. There are other people who have your exact same attitude out there, right? So you don't have to pretend to be a gun nut if you're not. But if you are a gun nut, where do you go? Shooting ranges, ammunition stores, sporting goods stores, and there's other gun nuts, right? It's incredible the number of people I met. I've gone to a couple of professional business meetings in the general area here, right? As a general contractor, remember I'm a general contractor, and I've met other business professionals who are preppers, right? Just normal everyday people, not ex-Marines, not special fucking forces Army, not Navy SEALs, just regular business people who are very enthusiastic about being Americans. I love it down here in the South. It is has a very good attitude. People love their freedom, folks. Don't give it up. It is easier to defend something which you hold than to try and take back something which has been stolen from you. Washington, D.C. thinks they own you. They think they own your land, your car, your family, your name, your money, everything. We're defending against that idea. If they actually take it from us, the way Klaus Schwab and the other Great Reset Rockefeller assholes want, then we're going to have to try and get it back, right? If you go to a bully who's already got your lunch money and say, give me my lunch money back, he's going to be like, what lunch money? No, that's not your lunch money. I don't have your lunch money. I have my money, right? It's going to be harder than saying, okay, bully, right? If you want my lunch money, you're going to have to take it from me. And I'm now ready for you. Folks, being a prepper means you're ready for them pulling their bullshit. Unbelievable what the government is doing, but it is very believable that you would be aware of it, prepared, planned out, because that's what we do. We're documenting what's going on. So when it happens, folks, because people are always saying, John, when's it going to happen? I go, I wish I could fucking tell you. But when it happens, you will know. When it happens, hopefully you're ready all the way. Because when it happens, we may not be able to turn it off. We're going to have little hot spots of Mad Max, SHTF shit going on, and having locals around you, right? So check out that guy's channel. Check it out. How to build community, how to build prepper groups, how to build like-minded people, how to, right, talk. You're going to talk about it differently in the South than you will in the Northeast. You're talking about it differently in the Midwest as opposed to the Southwest and the Northwest, right? Everywhere people talk and think just a little differently, but we're all Americans. Never forget that. We got Marilyn Myers checking in with a $4.99 super chat donation. Thank you, Marilyn. And I think she wrote, share please need to wake up. Maybe that is sheep. Sheep need to wake up. Yeah. People need to, how do we, sheep. What if the government told you that you're sheep? But you wake up and find out you're not a sheep, you're a lion. You're not a lamb, you're a lion. Right? If you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. Right? If you're going to be if you're going to be awake, you need to wake that part of you which is most serious. Get prepared. Great comment. Thank you. I'm glad I was able to roll with that one a little bit. All right. Let's see. Where are we going now? This is incredible, folks. This week coming up is going to be full of all kinds of shit. The whole world is in trouble. We had our friend from the Czech Republic check in, and I wanted to talk about this real quick. In Austria, not Australia, not the land down under, but in Austria, which is over there next to Germany, they're moving closer, folks, to imposing a lockdown on the unvaccinated. Ouch. There it is. There's that pollen thing again. Maybe you guys will figure out where I am according to the pollen bloom. Austria is closer to locking down the unvaccinated. That's what Australia did. And now they're looking at it in Austria. Are you prepared in case it comes to your country, your state, your city, your neighborhood? Oregon Patriot is back. And folks, Oregon, and you got the flag in your icon correct. The flag of distress is to take the American flag and fly it stars down. Stars down. Oregon Patriot, folks, the only part of Oregon that is run by the lunatics is the most populated part, kind of like California, and that is up in the greater Portland capital area. The rest of that state is very much red and patriotic. So Oregon Patriot checks in with a $5 super chat, and he says, be careful what you say around your phone. I was at my daughter's house talking about keto. The very next day, my junk mail was filled with keto crap, keto diet. Yes, phones listen. And I will tell you this, the app called Signal, Signal, Signal is an encrypted app. It doesn't mean the NSA or the Department of Homeland Security or any government agency like the FBI or the CIA even can't or doesn't listen, but when you at least, folks, when you at least use Signal as your app, you don't get annoying advertisements for the things you were just talking about, which is, it pisses you off. You're like, I was talking about mayonnaise. Now I'm getting ads for condiments? For real. Sometimes it takes 2 days or 3 days. It's like, dude, I already bought the condiments and you're giving me ads now, you moron. Right? I now have a year's worth of condiments. I'm not going to buy anymore. You just wasted your advertising dollar. That's how that shit goes, though, folks. Yeah. Everything listens to you. Your computers, your phone, your fucking refrigerator, television, I'm sure. Because the government is allowing it. The government's allowing it. Well, then don't buy their products, John. Don't use their stuff. I should be able to say, computer, you're not allowed to send any signals out. You're not allowed to share anything. I should be able to say to any tech company, I withdraw my consent. You're not allowed to gather information, store information, sell information, exchange, trade, or in any way give out information about me that you have obtained. And if you've obtained it, it's illegal. And if I find out, I can sue you. That's how it should be. Right? I can't walk into Mark Zuckerberg's house. I can't walk into, not that I want to, but I can't walk into Mark Zuckerberg's house, look over his shoulder and see how much money he's got on the computer. I shouldn't be able to listen to his conversations and then go out and sell that to the New York Times or an advertising agency and then have them send all their shit to Mark Zuckerberg. Hey, Mark is talking about buying a new car. And then have car people just swamp him. You know, he wouldn't like that, would he? Little turd. All right. Crazy Uncle is back with a $5 super chat donation. He says, John, if you want to deal with mosquitoes, put up some bet boxes. If you can get some guano in it to go get them to roost, you will never be bitten. Oh, you mean bat boxes, not bet boxes, but bat boxes. Yes, bats, those little flying mice. When I was in California, I did not have any bat boxes, but boy, did we have the bats, and it's enjoyable watching bats fly around and eat mosquitoes. It is not enjoyable having bats be taken in medical labs in China and weaponized, you know, bat soup and all. That's not how I like my bats. But yeah, bat boxes basically is a bat home. And bats will find it. Bats are, it's incredible the amount of insects they can eat, folks. And then their bat poop is guano. And bat guano is excellent fertilizer if you can get it. Anyways, thank you very much. Folks, vector control, mosquito control, bug control, pest control. Chickens are great for eating bugs out of your lawn, out of your garden. They'll fuck up your flowers and your plants too, so you got to be careful. But They'll get rid of pesky pests. We've got $5 from William C. Super chat donation. He says, my fantasy is to see America wake up and free Australia and Europe. That is a very nice fantasy, if we're going to call it that. What I'm going to tell you is that can happen. Now, what I would like to see on top of that is Australia wake itself up and free itself, and Europe wake up and free itself, and America as well, and Canada and Mexico and every country around the world wake up fully and say, you know what? There's a certain family in our country, and every country has this. There's a certain family, many families, that are using their power and their influence and their direction to harm others. That's criminal. It's anti-American or anti-whatever nation, and it's treason against the people to use the government against the people, to use the military against the people, to use corporations, to use the states, to use the police, to use the commercial system, the banking system, the educational system, the legal system. It's unconscionable, it's unlawful, it's unethical, it's immoral, it's wrong, and they should be punished for it. In every country around the whole world, I would love to see that. Hopefully we get there someday, folks. And we're continuing with over 1,000 viewers live right now, up to close to 2 hours, folks. 2 hours. We're at like the 2-hour mark almost. The president can't talk for 3 minutes and get more than 500 people. Live. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They can't get this many viewers and hold them. We get viewers and hold them for 2 hours plus, folks. That's how important this show is and how again awesome you guys are at getting people the word out. Now, we played this earlier, but I don't think enough people have seen it. And
Come on, man.
I couldn't help it. I love that Sniffy Joe shampoo. No, it's the Jim Jones juice, folks. We're going to be selling this on at thepreparedmind.club. Well, in fact, we're not going to sell it at thepreparedmind.club, but thepreparedmind.club, C-L-U-B, is our website where we sell things, where we have information. It is a news hub. It's linked to a lot of stores. It's linked to the R Syndicate, which is a clearinghouse for all things prepping. But we have Mr. T, who behind the scenes works really hard on these bumpers, these parodies and starts. But he came up with this one for the Jim Jones juice, and I think it's worth playing again.
Patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
Oh, yeah.
These are some sick people, folks. They've got a lot of authority. They've got a lot of power. You have to wake up, help others wake up, get prepared. All right, have we got some more questions? Pow, where are we at, Jolene? Where are we at? Ooh, man, we got Robert Wilson. He says, hey, John, watch PayPal for my contribution. Thank you, Robert. Let me hit the button here and refresh. Sadly, a lot of times, PayPal doesn't get everything through as quick as possible. But if it comes through after the show is done, Robert, I will definitely address your question, your comment in the next video tomorrow. Yeah, nothing coming up. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep going as I move along. But thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, a Vietnam vet, folks. And we have several Vietnam vets here. We have several, well, who knows how many hundreds of military veterans, officers enlisted. We have great Americans everywhere, folks. It's incredible, the network we put together. all I do, folks, is provide the forum. That's all I've done, is created a forum where people with like mind and like attitude can come together. I'm just a regular guy. Born and raised in California. I'm a regular guy. A contractor, been a Marine, studied law, raised a family, developed property. I'm just a regular guy. I just happen to be fortunate enough to be in this chair, in this position. I don't like stalkers. I don't like being bothered. I'm actually an introvert. I like being quiet time. I like to have fun with people I know, but I'm kind of a homebody, all of these things. I stay in my bunker. I'm just a regular guy, but I feel called to get the message out. And my mission is to get people prepared. That is my mission. My mission isn't to go around and cause trouble. It's not to join protests all over the country. It's not my mission. My mission is to get people prepared. If you're prepared, then I've done my job. Some people were already prepared and came here. People like Robert, people like John, people like Bonnie Blue. A lot of people are already preppers, and they just showed up here because sharing information and helping others, and etc. That's awesome. That's what we do. And speaking of what we do, we got Melissa's Rainbow Cisco with a $9.99 super chat donation. And she says, Kansas City, Missouri is already having rolling blackouts. I did not know that. Thank you for letting all of us know. Not good news. Rolling blackouts. The Secretary of Energy for the Biden administration. Well, apart from cackling while talking with Bloomberg News the other day about the energy crisis caused by the Biden administration, and then blaming the Trump administration, and then blaming OPEC for cutting our own oil production, right? Apart from that, she said expect rolling blackouts. Now, moving on. St. Louis got a letter to get backup heat source. People in St. Louis got a letter to get a backup heat source like space heaters. My propane server or service is concerned very. Been watching you for 3 years. Keep it up. Thank you, Melissa. Now, if you have a rolling blackout, no electricity, then a space heater is not going to work. If you can't get propane or natural gas, your gas-fired furnace won't work even if you have electricity. They're interdependent. A lot of heat sources, right? If it's a propane source, typically they need electricity to run. So you need a generator, you need propane, backup propane. One of the things I was showing a few years ago, back when I was in California, was the Mr. Buddy space heater. They could heat quite well. They had a catalytic converter, meaning they could be run indoors without an exhaust system, and they didn't require electricity, and they just run off a bottle of propane, and they were very, very efficient. And I used it all the time. It was much cheaper than running it was in the fifth wheel, but the furnace in the fifth wheel. That was way more expensive than the Mr. Buddy heater. But yeah, having backup. Now here's the backup to the backup is clothing, right? We say food, shelter, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing. Having the appropriate clothing. If you go skiing, right, you wear the socks and the liner and the clothes and the hat and the jacket and the gloves. If you go hunting, you wear very thick clothing, the snow boots, all of that to stay warm. I've spent the night outside wearing snow gear. It wasn't comfortable. I'm not going to tell you I liked it sitting in the icy ass snow all night long, waiting for some coyote to show up and, continue to dick around on my property. Wasn't fun, but I made it. You live, you survive. Having adequate warm clothing protects you. Additionally, it'll save you money. Your house at 50 degrees is less expensive to heat than trying to get your house from 0 degrees to 70. 0 degrees to 50 is a lot easier than 0 degrees to 70. But yeah, clothing is very important, especially up north. It's a lot cheaper to buy a good coat than it is to wear no coat in the house and buy propane at the prices are going up on that as well. Incredible. Thank you very much, though, Melissa. Yeah, and I'm glad you've been watching for 3 years. Share this link. Share it with everybody. Get people to wake up. We got Timothy Larrett with a $5 super chat, and he says, hey, cheers, Big John. You bet. Folks, it's amazing. The more you know about prepping, politics, the military, the food supply system, the banking system, the educational system, the more you know about all of this, the more you listen, the more you catalog, document, learn for yourself, the more you know, the more you'll be able to talk about it. And being able to talk is sharing, being able to talk and share the information. And not everyone is a great speaker. Not everyone has a fantastic memory. But if you can share just little bits of information, you'll be able to help people. So the longer you're here, the more you learn, the more you'll be able to help yourself and others. It's incredibly valuable. I get told thank you all the time, folks. I hear it all the time. Thank you for doing what you do. All I do is share information with you guys. That's all I do. People say, man, you're keeping me sane. I'm like, all I'm doing is sharing information. That's my purpose. It's my raison d'etre. That's what I do, is I want to communicate and share to get people prepared. It's gonna get fucking nasty. All right. I wish I could do so much more, but this is what I do. It's about all I'm capable of doing. I don't run a shooting range. I don't run a tactical self-defense program. I don't have that. Other people do, but this is what I do right here. We've topped the 2-hour mark. I don't know if we have any more super chat donations. Let me see if Robert Wilson's PayPal came through, and the answer is no, it hasn't. And so I tell you what, man, it's very frustrating. Let me check my phone here. Very frustrating indeed. Okay. Bear with me, folks. It may be here. And this is, I had another friend say, yeah, I had this problem, right? Getting PayPal. Nope. All we're showing is Redline, Heidi, Darcy, and Penelope. That's all we've got showing for right now. I don't know what's going on with PayPal. What I do know is that in the past, people have sent me donations, and they're held up. Like PayPal will say, John, you've got $5, but it's being held up because the person that sent it, we're suspicious of this money and where it came from. And I don't know how many times have I sent money to someone. I have no idea if it's been held up because of suspicions about me. You know, it's like that John, he's kind of a suspicious, freedom-loving American. That's kind of odd, you know, someone who likes freedom and liberty. Anyways, I'll keep an eye out for it, Robert. When it shows, and then we'll all know about it. For now, we've gone past 2 hours. It's been a great Sunday Night Live. It's been a great zoo. We do this every week. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. We start the zoo, which is YouTube. It's Patreon. And then I say, grab everyone you can. Grab a beverage. Grab a snack. Grab a comfortable chair. And let's bullshit. Let's rap. Let's talk about what's happening. And you guys get to pick the subject matter. I want to thank you again. We got a lot of great new people. People need to get subscribed, folks. And YouTube is trying to stop us. And Facebook is trying to stop us. And Google's trying to stop us. And they're all trying to shut us up. They're telling us what we can and can't talk about. And it's just an absolute nightmare. But people are waking up, and you're doing it, folks. And I want to thank you for it. Chance favors the prepared mind. Are you ready? Aren't you glad you're a prepper? Godspeed to you all, and Semper Fi means always faithful. You guys be cool. I'll see you tomorrow. It's coming. They're not done. Shit has hit the fan. They won't quit. Godspeed to you all.